Hello, Matujima, and you're watching Hornbill TV's newsroom. In recent years, there has been a notable rise in beauty pageants in the state. While these pageants are often viewed as platforms to empower and groom young talents, social media posts suggest a different story. Some pageants and talent show organizers have reportedly failed to pay winners and those who worked with their teams over the past few years. This raises the question: is the emerging trend of beauty pageants in Nagaland empowering or exploiting the youth? So to discuss about this matter, we'll be joined by our associate editor, El, from the newsroom. Hello, El, can you hear me?
Hello, I do.
Right, okay. El, let me start with this. People say that Nagaland is now not just a land of taxation, but a land of beauty pageants as well. So what do you have to say about that? Let's begin with that.
Yeah, Atu, I was interacting with someone on Twitter just recently, and this post by this particular person said that within a few years, every house in Nagaland will have at least one beauty queen in the next, 10 years, 20 years. So every house will have a beauty queen. So the number of beauty pageants emerging, the number of events that are taking place is of course exciting for the young people who are seeking some kind of a platform to demonstrate their talents and to be able to be given the first stepping stones to their aspirations, their first step to visibility. So it's exciting for these people, but there are also a lot of concerns concerning these many beauty and talent teamed organizations coming up with competitions which are either not credible or are not well organized. So I think we have been having these discussions on social media for the past 2 or 3 days regarding this certain event that refused or failed to pay its winners. So I think generally it's a good thing. Of course, our young people, they need platforms to be able to go out there and taste what it means to be visible socially, to taste what it means to achieve that goal at that level, at that age. So I think it is a wonderful platform for everyone, especially for our women, for our young women. So it is something I do not really criticize. In fact, if they're well organized, if they are credible, and if they can be relied on, then why not? Let's have that. But the problem comes where everyone decides what kind of events should be organized. When everyone who has resources, they come up with this kind of events, and suddenly we have too many of them where we start to walk into spaces of exploitation, exploiting the face, exploiting the body, exploiting the aesthetics of a certain meaning of a social living. It could be the meaning of accountability, it could be the meaning of beauty and brains, it could be the meaning of empowering. So we are trying to manipulate and exploit certain social meanings by using our young people. So that is the problem, and I think the discussions that we have been having on social media in regard to one of the event organizers who have been criticized for failing to pay its winners. So I think we need a check on this at the state level by a sub-government or a dedicated NGO that is entrusted with taking care of this kind of issues.
Right, we'll go into it, we'll discuss about it more, but then I would want to know, do you think that people have become more acceptable of beauty pageants when it comes to the society now? Because I'm pretty sure it was different back then, and I'm pretty aware of that people, when they say beauty pageant, they would have a different notion about it. But now, do you think it has changed a little bit, that they're more acceptable of, okay, beauty pageant is not just about showing your beauty, but at the same time it's about grooming the youngsters and also empowering them. The notion and the thought of people and the society, has it changed a little bit?
you're talking to someone who didn't even comb his hair this morning, so I'm not really qualified to be speaking about beauty pageants here too. But one thing I'm very sure is that yes, definitely. First thing, I think we need to keep these 2 points in mind. First thing, yes, people have accepted beauty pageants as part of our growth also, as growth as a society. That is because I remember the time, in my youth, whenever district level beauty pageants were organized, and when young people said they wanted to participate, they would say, style Korea say, or you are promiscuous, you have loose morals, you're not a good woman, you're not a good girl. So those days, there was a level of censure that was associated with beauty or the modeling industry. But now, I don't think that people look at this particular activity the way we used to. It is more accepting, and I think the realization here is because now it's no more about the face and the body per se. It is about, as we say, beauty with purpose. Yeah, we say beauty with brains. So there is a level of an intentional and a deliberate level of acceptance that is directed not towards just beauty, but what our women can do by using that platform. So yeah, I'll definitely say we are accepting, but that number two, that acceptance is also the reason why we have thousands of modeling and beauty themed events, competitions. So everyone is organizing this and that. Miss Nagaland, Miss Wokha Universe, Miss Kohima Nagaland Universe Asia Pacific, Miss, what is that? Miss Queen of the Universe. Right. We were talking about that in the newsroom just now. Miss Queen of the Universe. What next? Miss Queen of the World. So we have accepted it to the point that it has come up to our ears now, because there is no regulation. So I think there has to be some kind of a check in this kind of activities, so that our competition will be more qualitative.
Right.
We don't want to have every house we filled with Miss Queen this and that. So I think there has to be some kind of an examination in the way these events are structured in our calendars, so that we will have more quality instead of quantity.
So I would want to know also, and I think our viewers might also want to know your opinion on this also. So who is supposed to keep a check on that as well, about what kind of beauty pageants are being organized and the titles also? So who is supposed, when it comes to a state, who is supposed to keep a check on that?
All right. Just about a minute ago, I tried calling up our former Miss Nagaland, namely Benlawati, but she was not available. So I talked to someone in Moshong, and I asked them, and she is, I don't know what you call them, a professional event organizer in this regard.
Right.
She organizes a lot of beauty pageants and modeling events. So I asked her, is there any kind of an authority in Nagaland that keeps a check on these beauty pageants? And she said, no, there is no one. Of course, there is the Beauty and Aesthetics Society of Nagaland, right?
Right.
BASN. So the BASN takes care of only the state level beauty contest, but at the district level, it is the events are organized based on fundraising NGOs. So what they do is they raise funds and then they organize, and the prizes are from the kitty of the NGOs also. But for the state level Miss Nagaland events, it is taken care of by the BS. And now to your question, there is no authority. There is no one checking. There is no hierarchy of these events. For example, we have Miss Districts, Miss Dimapur, let's say, and then it goes all the way to Miss Nagaland. And from Miss Nagaland, we go to Miss India.
Right.
So there is a hierarchy that also is taken care of by a regulatory mechanism that keeps in check these events and how they are organized. So there's a level of authority in them. But for all the others, Miss Queen of the Universe and Miss everything, for all else, it is by private individuals who have resources, and they come up with these titles and names which are not necessarily recognized by the Beauty and Aesthetics Society of Nagaland. So there is no one checking them, and the only the only events that are being taken care of by the BSN is the Miss Nagaland event, and of course they also I think they also have a little bit of a hand in the Miss Districts, but only the Miss Nagaland event is funded by the government. That is what the organizer told me just a few minutes ago too.
Right, according to what's going on social media, there is a particular organizing team that has not paid, but this is somewhat the first time, if I'm not mistaken, that the participants has also spoken about it, that they haven't been paid. But do you think things as such might have happened earlier also, but people did not have the guts to speak about it, but it's happening now? And would you say anything, do you have any comment on that as well?
Yeah, I think the reason why participants who I believe were cheated or exploited, or they were denied their prizes, they refused to speak up because of the stigma attached.
Right.
Yes, stigma attached with, you know, beauty pageants or modeling talents are not something that you normally associate with the mainstream media. While we have accepted it, we have not really seen it from the eyes of the professional industry. So there is a stigma attached to it in that sense. So it will be embarrassing, I believe, for the participants to, you know, come out and say, hey, you didn't pay us.
Right.
You promised this, but you failed to give us this. So the stigma is preventing them from speaking out. But again, there have been opportunities like the ones that, you know, what was the name of that event? The issue that is going on social media, something Meraki event,
Right.
something. So these are opportunities for people who feel they have been exploited by these unregulated events. So this has given them the chance to speak out. And I was just looking through the statements of several individuals, winners of such kind of events, who were not paid. There were a lot of them.
Right.
And I also read that the Miss Arunachal Pradesh, right?
Right.
I read that she's still waiting for her prize money, you know, from 2021.
2021, yeah.
So it's embarrassing for the organizers also, but even more so for the participants, for the stigma that is involved. But like I said, these are opportunities that have been given to them to be able to speak out. And I hope that the authorities, especially the beauty authorities, the modeling talent authorities in Nagaland, or if they have an organization or a platform, they can speak on behalf of these aggrieved contestants or winners who have been exploited, and I think it'll be good. And if we don't have, I think it's a very good opportunity for them to organize one, so that this kind of issues where contestants or talents are not exploited will happen, so that we can prevent all this even in the future. So I think we need a platform in this regard.
Also, now that we have social media, do you think it is much easier? I mean, when it comes to social media, you just post and it becomes viral. It has become much easier to advertise your event also. So do you think social media playing a part there, has it made it much easier for organizers and also to promote their events also without regulations?
Yeah, definitely. Social media has opened the world to us, especially the Nagas, after 2020,
right,
when the COVID pandemic hit. Before that, you could hardly see any Naga YouTubers. You could hardly see any Naga vloggers. Social media was something that was just confined only to Facebook as an interactive platform instead of a platform where you could demonstrate your talents, where you could show the people what you can do or what you want to do, or just putting out your interests out there. So social media, as we know today, has become more interactive, more involved, and it's easier to reach a lot of people. And that is the reason why individuals at a private level, they also exploit it, and there are also money-minded organizations that try to come up with a lot of events, this and that events, and exploit our women, our girls. So it has given us a lot of good opportunities, but it has also started to walk into spaces where our people are exploited, where we exploit people in the name of meaning, in the name of a purpose, in the name of a cause. So it is, social media has opened us a way, but it is also starting to block a lot of people's passage if we don't regulate it.
So there's $1 million question here. What do you think led to the emergence of such trend in Nagaland, where there are so many beauty pageants? And I would want to mention it there also. It's not just about beauty pageants for women, but also men also now these days. And they have men, I think they have went to national levels and also had titles. There are so many titles for men also, not just women. So in Nagaland, what do you think led to the emergence of that also, the trend? And can you compare it to how it was back then and how it is now also?
Excuse me. I don't really want to talk about the men's side of the beauty events that are organized. I don't really want to comment on those, but one thing I am very sure in this regard are to let's talk about our history a little bit here. The Naga political movement, I believe, and I always say this, one of the reasons why the Naga people have no rich literary culture, artistic culture, and only now are we getting to explore our artistic wealth, our creativity, is because a space was given to us by the ceasefire. Those days, nobody cared about literature or writing the way we do now. Nobody cared about reading books the way we do now. Nobody cared about painting or art or music we do now. It is because, and the industries, all these industries are still underdeveloped because the media had always been focused on the killings, the bloodshed, the political events taking place around the people of Nagaland and the Naga people. The focus had always been on the political conflict, and only after, I believe, the 90s, only after the mid-90s, that suddenly we are starting to hear about modeling, we're starting to hear about Naga people achieving fame in arts, painting. There is Tamsalongkamar, who is based in London, who is a very prominent painter. We started hearing about Naga people achieving fame in music. There Kilangpongan in South Asia, we have Ren Mary in the United States, and of course Nise Mirano to some extent in Southeast Asia. She has been making inroads in music. So suddenly the world opened to us when the ceasefire happened. We started feeling and tapping into the pearls of the artistic world, the creative world, and with it also brought a lot of new concepts, industry concepts like beauty and modeling. So this is the reason why I think the space, the relative peace, and in the emergence of the media as a tool to reach out to every nook and corner across the world with just a click of your button. All this gave us the opportunity to delve into these artistic activities, these aesthetic activities, And that is the reason why there is a lot of encouragement in the hearts of people, especially people who have resources, to organize these events. Suddenly we have this event, that event, this music competition, that modeling event, this beauty pageant. So this is the reason why we have a lot of people organizing these events. And second, related to the first, our young people, now Nagaland is going through a very difficult phase: unemployment, illegal immigration, extortion and threats. There is no mental space for us to focus on personal growth, which also means the space for you to actually stand out from the crowd is very small, it's very competitive. So you go for anything and everything there is for you to make a name for yourself, Atu.
Right.
So that is why our youngsters, looking for a way to demonstrate their talent, to express their interests and to express their worldview, they just go at everything that is given to them. This contest, that contest, this beauty, these modeling events. So that is also another reason why organizers, whatever the intention is, why these organizers are being encouraged to organize more and more events that are youth themed. So those are the reasons why we have all these events coming up, a lot of them.
Right, and lastly, when it comes to things as such, of course there are bigger, I mean, I'm not saying it's not a big problem, but there are bigger problems also, but we don't have to drag the government in here. But then I want to mention this also. We got to know that when it comes to youth affairs and when it comes to pageants as such, our neighboring state, Arunachal Pradesh, they have some few amounts sanctioned also for pageants, and also for, if I'm not mistaken, and for winners and such as things as such. Is there anything as such when it comes to Nagaland? And do you think that when the state is involved, you know, when the government is involved, when the organization, when, for example, I would want to mention here also, I got to know that when it comes to Miss Siminu, the Rengma Mothers Association, they're very much involved in that also, because it comes, as I mentioned, beauty pageants are not just about showing your beauty and your aesthetics, but also about empowering, be it men or women. So do you think the involvement is also very much required to stop such, when such authentic organizations or the state government as such are very much involved? And I think it would reduce the amount of I wouldn't say like unethical, but I would say unwanted people to be involved in this kind of organizing team or organization.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yes, you are right, Atu. In order for an organization's event to be credible, you need credible organizers.
Right.
So, we say, Miss Districts kan nohoile do, Miss Nagaland nohoile do, don't go in. I'm not saying anything else besides Miss Dimapur, Miss Kohima, or Miss Nagaland is something not to be trusted. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying they're all poor quality. And I'm also not saying their intentions are bad. But all I am saying is, as long as the people behind that event is credible, and you mentioned the Siminu Mothers Association, you mentioned the government of Arunachal Pradesh for the Miss Arunachal event, and just recently someone told me that the state government of Nagaland is funding a little bit of it, the Miss Nagaland event. So when you have organizers that are comparatively reliable,
right,
then I think it is easier for the discerning youth to also know, okay, this event is reliable. Then I think it will also be able to represent my talents, my interests, and my worldview with integrity. So if you go to a city event that has been organized by a very seedy or unreliable organization, it will not represent your talent with integrity. Your talent will not be justified, and most probably it will be like exploiting your talent putting up your talent and your expertise and your interest out there for nothing, just because the organizers are not reliable, just because the organization did not have a history that demonstrated integrity. So I will agree with you, if we have quality organizers that have some kind of an authority at the state level, then I think the events that they organize will also have a level of integrity for our youth to be able to justifiably represent their talents before the society and the people with a level of confidence and faith in the system. So if there is a state level body that will take care of all these beauty and modeling events in Nagaland, I think that will be wonderful. It will, like you said, to definitely reduce all this reduce all these all these events that are not part of what I would call the mainstream talent platforms. Let's say Miss Dimapur, Miss Moshong, Miss Wokha, Miss Nagaland,
Right.
or Miss India. So I think we need a platform that will take care of all the others besides this. It will lead to quality, Atu. It will lead to quality.
And also, Al, would you say that whatever is happening now, the post on social media, it should be a lesson to the youngsters also to know about the organizers, to study about the organizers before you perform? I mean, before you contest, would it be a lesson to them also? And should they learn anything from what's happening now?
Yeah, definitely our youth, our girls especially, and our women need to be a little discerning. Just recently, Yo-Yo, I think it was Yo-Yo who was saying this, our girls, before they jump into this Miss Beauty and that Miss Beauty event, we need to do a little background research, who are the organizers, do they have a history of competence in organizing these things, do they have some kind of a record, So do a little bit research, talk to people, and if you feel that they're not really reliable, then seek the advice of people and then compete. Because in order for you to demonstrate a level of excellence, you should also be able to compete in a space that is qualitative,
Right.
that can actually receive your excellence. But if you go to any of the city organizations and their events and you stand there, you will not be represented well by that organization or by that event. So I think we need to educate ourselves. We have been talking about that Maraki entertainment something. And now there are people who are complaining. The winners are complaining. And then you look at, let's say, Miss Nagaland.
Right.
She is not complaining. Her friends and her well-wishers are not complaining because she has received a lot of opportunities because of Miss Nagaland. Miss Nagaland is a quality event.
Right.
So our girls, our women, I think we need to be a little more discerning, do a lot of background research, and just don't jump into this and that talent, this and that modeling, this and that beauty events. And only then we will also automatically start discouraging all other chapra-chapri events, but focus on the quality ones. That's what I want to say too.
Asi, I'd also say, do you think the emergence of such different beauty pageants is also somewhat, people when they say, I'm going for Miss Nagaland, do you think that it would make it a little more unappreciable when it comes to titles as such, because there are so many other beauty pageants?
Yeah, definitely. That's the whole point. The whole idea of having some kind of a forum that will keep an eye on the state and district events and all other non-state or non-district related events out of the league is to create quality.
Right.
So that people will start appreciating, Miss Dimapur, or Miss Kohima, Miss Nagaland. They will be able to add a level of appreciation to these talents or talent events because they have quality. they have integrity, they have a level of validation that is appended by the society itself. So there definitely, if we will just cut down a little bit on the other events and just stick to the state level events that is organized by credible people, then I think we will naturally start discouraging all the side events and keep the focus only on the state level events that will generate some kind of a value system in the perception of the people, and they will say, oh, Miss Nagaland ase, Miss District ase, good quality, and they will be able to receive what the contestants have to give to the society.
Great. All right, thank you so much, El, for sharing your views. I'm pretty sure it was a difficult topic to discuss also.
Yeah.
It's not our expertise.
Look at my hair, look at my hair.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me today and discussing about it. I think that's all we'll have for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
That's all we'll have for now. Keep watching Hornbill TV.